On today's show, producer Coop is going to come on here and give me some Commanders rumors that he's drawn up here. I have not seen these rumors, and I'm going to tell you whether to buy, sell, or hold stock in those Commanders rumors as the 2023 NFL season continues here for the Washington Commanders. But before I get going into these buy, sell, or hold situations, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now and join our family here at the Commanders Report. We're going to be doing watch parties for various games throughout the 2023 season here on the channel, including this week for Week 2 versus the Denver Broncos. We're going to be going live around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, so make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you always know when we go live here on the channel.
All right, Sperry, rumor number one. Montez Sweat will get a contract extension before the end of the 2023 season.
You know, Montez really played a great game. He was my MVP for Week 1 versus the Cardinals. And, you know, really had a great breakout season last year. You know what? I'm going to say buy this one, Coop, because Montez Sweat is somebody that I'm a big believer in. Even if Chase Young breaks out here this season and has a really good year himself, I would say pay both of them. I know you would be spending a ton of money on that defensive line because you're already paying Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne a bunch as well. But listen, if Montez Sweat and Chase Young are who we think that they're going to be this season, lock in that pass rush for the next 4 or 5 years by extending both of them. I think that's a really smart move. It really solidifies this as one of the best pass rushes in the National Football League for years to come. So I say buy stock in a contract extension for Mr. Montez Sweat.
Rumor number 2. The Commanders will sign a guard to replace Sadiq Charles on the offensive line.
Oh, man, I want to say buy to this one so bad, Coop, but because he's just not a starting capable NFL offensive lineman in my opinion. But you know what? I'm going to say sell this because I think Ron Rivera believes in him. I think Eric Bieniemy to some degree believes in him. And unless things get really bad over the next couple weeks and he really forces their hand, I think he's going to be the starting left guard for this team for the foreseeable future. I guess we'll see how he does in the weeks to come. Did not play particularly well against the Arizona Cardinals defensive line. So it's like, what's it going to be like when they play the Cowboys, when they play the Eagles, and when they have stacked pass rushes? I just don't know, man. I don't think that Sadiq Charles is going to be very good for this team this year. I hope that they can get a guy like Ben Jones or Dalton Reisner in NFL free agency, but that just doesn't seem likely at this point. I feel like if they wanted to do that, they would have done it already, and I think it's a massive mistake for Ron Rivera that could end up costing him his job here as the head coach of the Washington Commanders. I guess we'll have to see on that one. But yeah, this offensive line is definitely in shambles for the Washington Commanders right now, in my opinion.
This is a good one. Chase Young will be a Commander after the NFL trade deadline.
Ooh, that's a good one, Coop. Chase Young, I mean, plain simply, I don't know on this one, Coop, because we haven't seen him play all that much over the last, 2-3 seasons at this point. I mean, he played half of 2021, but then he tore his ACL, barely played last year, and he hasn't played this year. So it's like, I really don't know. So I'm going to tell you to hold stock in this. If he doesn't play particularly well when he comes back, I could definitely see the Commanders trading him, especially because he's a free agent coming up here this next offseason. Again, they declined his 5th-year option this offseason. And if Montez Sweat continues to play well, they're going to give him a contract extension. And if Chase Young really isn't worth a contract extension himself, I think it's probably going to be a trade situation if the Commanders are no longer in the playoff race. So I think 2 things really do need to happen. A, Chase Young has to kind of disappoint on the field here throughout the season here before the trade deadline. And B, the Commanders need to be out of the playoff picture. I don't think either of those things are going to happen. I think Chase Young's going to be really good, and I think the Commanders will at least be still in somewhat playoff contention come the trade deadline. So I don't think Chase Young is going to get traded this year. But as of right now, I just haven't seen him on the field, so I can't give you a definitive answer. Now, predict it for me down there in the comments section. Buy, sell, or hold this one, guys. Chase Young will be a Commander after the trade deadline. If you're buying that stock, type B. If you're selling that stock, give me an S. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question.
All right, moving along here. Cole Turner. Is he a better tight end than Logan Thomas?
Yes, I'm going to say bye on this one. I do think Cole Turner is better than Logan Thomas. Watching the film from week one, Logan Thomas had a really bad drop over the middle of the field that just keeps sticking in my brain. Cole Turner had a really good preseason, in my opinion. I thought he looked pretty good in week one as well. I just think that he's more talented overall. He's younger. He's played the position a little bit longer than Logan Thomas. Of course, Thomas used to be a quarterback, and sometimes that shows on the field. I think Cole Turner has shown some really, really good things as a receiver in this league. And I think that if anybody's going to come out and be that dynamic tight end presence, a receiving threat for this team, it's going to be Cole Turner. Logan Thomas is fine. He's more of a possession type tight end. I think Cole Turner has the potential to be something more there. So I'm going to tell you to buy stock in that one.
All right, moving on. Khaleke Hudson will replace Cody Barton at some point.
Ooh, Cody Barton was really bad in week one, Coop. He was probably the worst inside linebacker in football, at least in my opinion. I haven't watched all the film on all the games, of course, but based on what I saw from Cody Barton in week one, he was probably the worst linebacker in the game in week one. That's how bad it was. He was getting blown off his spot, flat feet, not really moving well in pass coverage either. You bring this guy in free agency hoping he's going to be a nice number 2 inside linebacker next to Jamin Davis, and he just got exposed in week one. Now, is it maybe that he's in a new system, blah, 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 whatever, maybe, but I definitely think that there's definitely a possibility here that Khaleke Hudson, somebody that impressed a little bit towards the end of last season, had a really good training camp and preseason, might usurp Cody Barton, especially if he continues to struggle here in the weeks to come. Now, we have a couple more scenarios here to break down in just a sec, but first, let's have a word from our sponsor at BetUS, and they're offering you guys a fantastic 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125. Now, what does that mean, a deposit bonus? That means if you deposit up to $100 to $600 on the BetUS website, they're going to give you 125% of that money back to you to use on your bet. So if you put in $100, they give you $125 additional dollars to use on your bets. $225 total. I think that's a pretty darn good deal. If you want to take advantage of that right now, go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125 today.
All right, here we go. Jahan Dotson will lead the team in receiving versus the Denver Broncos this week.
Yeah, I think he will, because Terry McLaurin's going to be going up against Patrick Surtain, who's one of, if not the best corner in the game today. I'm assuming Pat is going to be following him everywhere he goes, and that really provides a great opportunity for Jahan Dotson this week. Now, last week, Curtis Samuel was the leading receiver for the Commanders. It's certainly possible that Curtis has another good week here against the Denver Broncos. And speaking of that game here, if you want to see my full preview of this game between the Washington Commanders and the Denver Broncos for week 2, you want to see my score prediction, keys to victory, players to watch, all that sort of stuff, I'm going to put the link to that video in the comments and description of today's video. And now Coop is telling me we got one more left for today's video, so lay it on me, Coop.
The Commanders will trade Jacoby Brissett to the New York Jets as an Aaron Rodgers replacement.
I was wondering where this one was going to come up, because this is the big rumor this week, is that because of the Aaron Rodgers Achilles tear, Jacoby Brissett could be on his way to the Jets. Now, I'm going to tell you to hold this one, because I'm not too sure if the Commanders actually want to give up on Jacoby Brissett right now, because if you get rid of your backup quarterback, it's like, what if Sam Howell's not good? What if Sam Howell gets injured? Are you really going to trust Jake Fromm or go out in free agency? You get like a God forbid, Carson Wentz, he's not coming here, but, like another backup quarterback in free agency, that's just not going to be as good as Jacoby Brissett. So, I can see the reasons for trading him to the Jets, where you get an additional third-round pick likely. That could be a really good pick for us moving forward. And you're essentially getting a day 2 pick for a backup quarterback. That's incredible trade value, at least on paper. But, if Sam Howell just isn't it towards the end of the season, as the season goes on, if he has 4 or 5 bad games in a row and Ron Rivera needs to turn to somebody else to try to save his butt here in Washington as the head coach, Jacoby Brissett is a nice security blanket to have. Now, personally, I would probably really think about trading Jacoby to the New York Jets. That third-round pick is really, really enticing, especially for a team that could be heading for another rebuild here and another head coach moving into the future. But, it's definitely going to be an interesting situation. I wouldn't be surprised either way here. That's why I'm going to tell you to hold on the trade rumors surrounding Jacoby Brissett. Now, let me know what you guys think. Predict it down in the comments. Will the Commanders trade Jacoby Brissett to the New York Jets here this season? Type yes or type no down there in the comments section. Let me know and predict this Commanders trade rumor down there in the comments section. That'll be it for me and producer Coop today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button for more Commanders videos. We will see you guys on Sunday for the Commanders watch party versus the Denver Broncos. Again, 4 p.m. Eastern time is when we are going live. Do not miss it. Click that subscribe button right now.